So do that on TV?
We're live. We're live.
All right, good morning. Call to order the June 4th, 2025 meeting of the Jefferson Township Trustee Board of Directors. So at this time, you want to do the pledge?
I apologize. TV's on.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, start out with old business. First thing, we want to approve the minutes from the January meeting. Everybody's had a chance to read them.
I move that the minutes be approved.
Second? And second? All in favor? Aye. Minutes have been approved. All right, first thing on the agenda is we talk about the fire contract update. So, Chris?
So throughout this spring, or I should say January until April, I spoke with Alan Bullock, Town Council President, a couple other Town Council members. They talked about creating their own little subcommittee, so I discussed with all them. We came to the agreement that in lieu of raising any prices in the upcoming next 5 years of our $20,000 contract, that we will give them the titles to our trucks that we own, in ownership in the grass rig, what else they have. Basically, we're going to do a trade. We looked at that and said it's a value of about $100,000 for what we have, so we're going to stick to the same, and then review the contract in 5 years. The town, he brought that to the town council, and they said they like that idea. It's simple. They're just going to get their attorney to put all that together and do the contract. And I did speak with him just again last week to make sure that was still on the go, and he's been pretty tight at the school and this got done. He said that their town attorney is working on this summer.
All right, so we'll keep us updated on that as we go along, and any actions we need to take, we will take.
Yeah, we'll eventually have to do, obviously, not a vote, what else? The motion, but yes, well, I'll think of it like.
Yeah, anyhow, we'll take actions on it.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, yes, payroll vouchers, yeah, these my notes.
They are here. Should be. Good. Take them off. Oh, there. I should put these in order for you, make it a little simpler. See, you must have done January. Oh, that would be January, that's done in February, so that's right. Hopefully the sound picks up okay on it. Can you find out one?
Not used to it, we're roofing classes.
Contract, one contract now.
Sometimes I work in regular classes, this is the week now. Cataracts are weird, it's changing.
It seems like it's been this many months since we met.
I know.
Anything, just.
And it's accumulated stuff.
I can put it back in fire contract later, but yeah, you can do that.
All right, that'll take care of it. All right, you want to give us an update on the pantry?
I pulled together, I originally planned on, I thought we would meet in July, just have a 6-month interval, but given the new things that are coming up, push it up. To give you an idea, in January, actually, if you want each month go for just 6 months. or
That's the
5 months.
last time.
Yeah, so from January to May, we served 1,298 households, which equated to 3,900 people exactly. And that was in the food pantry. I didn't say that. The personal care pantry,
How many people?
3,900 people. And did you have the households part of that? Yeah, 1,298. And then we started our mobile food pantry back in March, so we had March, April, May. I apologize, I didn't grab those numbers. They were 175-ish, then like 205, I want to say 180 for the last 3 months. So we're right there pushing the 185 average at the mobile. The personal care pantry up front, it has been getting busier and busier. So far, we've done 167 families through that. We've been doing a closed closet. I think you're all aware we've had a closed closet. I try to put it out 2 to 3 times a month. It depends on if we have visitors or something else going on. And when my surgery was all going on, it was a little more limited. So with that, we've had a lot of donations from Dollar General, different things that are going over there. It's just been really successful. People are loving that, really utilizing the closed closet. We're getting more new people coming in to donate once we're hearing about it. So when they come in, I capture them and I try to show them everything we're doing just to get them, they just have no idea what's going on. So, yeah, we're starting our back to school program right now, and we're changing up this year. We're just going to collect school supplies versus matching up every family with a donor, with a sponsor, and that's a very large project. I don't have the time for it. Allison is kind of pulling my way. She's busy too. So we're just gonna, line up school supplies in the community room, and I've got all the lists I just got from the school, and we'll have some people here to help until we run out.
Yeah.
Try to simplify it. We're looking at a way to simplify the back to Christmas program too, to try to see where that goes.
Yeah.
How's that running up report to the county health department doing? They've got boxes in every library.
Oh, collecting.
And collect.
I'd say that's for Richmond.
So,
I don't know anything about there, so that's not for us. Our library is gonna collect for us. Jennifer told me she's gonna put a
oh,
box
okay, that's
out.
when you,
Yeah.
okay, the box is out.
Yes, yeah, she's collecting for us. And then I've gotten some flyers at the bank and so on. And then I reached out to about 50 of our previous sponsors, and so I called about 10 of you emailed me back and said they're willing to help. And we've got some money still left over that we can use for purchasing more back to school supplies. All of that, like I said, it's just growing. The food pantry we're getting very, very overly busy, frankly, and I'm running out of ways to get food, so I'm working on new ways to get that.
That becomes a growth.
Yeah, and to be honest, I track on where they come from with them. I am going to cut Cambridge back 2 months of money, but our growth is in Hagerstown. We're picking up. It depends on the week, but a couple here, a couple there. But typically, what I've seen is we're picked up at least about 10 or more every month. That's from the Hagerstown area. That is neat, and we're getting around even more.
I think, didn't the New Testament do away with our food
They
pantry?
did, yeah, we're the only pantry in this area. Cambridge has one once a month, for a total of 2 or 3 hours, and that's it. So there's nobody west of Centerville that does it. So, yeah, I wish we could do everybody, but I can't keep enough meat and cold items to serve everybody and to purchase all of it, which we're buying a lot now. I'm spending probably $1,200 to $1,500 a month now on food through our donation account, just to keep our people supplied. Because what we're getting from the state or from the federal program, TFAP, is diminishing a lot. it's, I spend hours upon hours just trying to allocate food and just make sure what we can get next week. Just have to keep watching, and if the numbers continue to grow, I'll have to refocus just back to Middle Creek. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, there's no reason why the other trustees, especially on Cambridge, can't do their own that manner.
But, any other questions on the pantries or?
I think you did buy that new container.
The nonprofit bought it, yeah, we bought it through our nonprofit. I was able to use the grant money that we had gotten to buy it. And we're that's what we're gonna do later today, is move some things around and try to get reorganized. That's gonna allow me to store a lot more dry stuff. And I was able to purchase some more refrigeration freezers to, all the produce. I can get a lot of produce, which is great, but it doesn't last. Now, with wintertime, I was keeping it front, keeping it at 50, so it was fine. Now it's hot again, so we've got more cold storage to be able to put produce in. That is one thing, luckily, we're still getting good produce. It's every other week, so I got to keep it for a few weeks or it's gone.
Good, all right. Okay, interlocal agreement, let's talk about that.
What we're looking for there is when Joe and I were talking, when we first started the nonprofit to partner with the food pantry so we could keep the food pantry, we did an interlocal agreement then, just to say, hey, the food pantry, the township and Clears can use the nonprofit status from the Middle Creek Community Coalition. That way we continue to get food. And then as it's growing and growing, like the nonprofit has purchased the box truck now to go get food for the food pantry, and we purchased the storage container, blah, blah, blah. Then we put wire and insulation out there. The township took care of the wire and insulation. Joe brought up to me, he said, you probably need to do another interlocal agreement now that you have properties. So that's what we did. And then I did a rough draft, and then Gary looked at it since he's a financial advisor. And what he did the other day, said, hey, look at this. He pointed out a couple of changes we need to make. So we did that. But what we're looking for, it's just the key. When we get audited, they're going to look at it, they're going to say, well, why did you spend, money to buy wiring to wire outlets out there? And why did the township buy that? Because it's not their property. So that's where the local agreement comes in, is, hey, it's a partnership, And it is, it's a, I don't know what you would say, it's a brother, sister, work, whatever kind of thing. We can't do one without the other, and the other can't do anybody's doing without the other either. So we're just serving the community.
Well, that makes it nice, we've all looked at it. We sign off on that, everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the changes we made was the top of page 2 was the nonprofit director, township trustee. And originally that said that nonprofit and township trustee will make all the final decisions.
Yeah.
I reminded Chris, that's you.
I forget how it worded, but it's, it was like the governance of both.
Yeah, I said that, the governance of both of them would do that. Well, that's the same people.
Yeah.
So he added the township advisory will make the final decision.
Seemed like it was one other.
That's what it should be, that's what
Absolutely, yeah. That's why I want somebody else to look over it. Actually, I told him, he has an attorney wrote this, I said, all they know is able to use on Microsoft Word and all that now, the programs, they have the AI now, portion of it. You type in there, I want an interlocal agreement between this and this, and it spit this out. And my wife, who's an attorney, looked at it, she said, that really looks pretty standard. Yeah, she said, that looks pretty standard, what we would have typed up anyway.
What's the name of the nonprofit?
Middle Creek Community Coalition, or NCCC. It's been huge. I apologize. I should have wrote down what we got for grants this year so far, just through it. But because as you know, as a township, we're government, so I can't get grants to do what we're doing. But as a nonprofit, we can. So like we were able to get, I just off the top of my head, I've got a couple of grants already this year. One was from Co-Alliance, the Keystone Co-Alliance. I got 2,000 from them. I think there was another somewhere else that's slipping my mind at the moment. And then I applied for another one through Three Rivers again. But having that we can purchase more things and do more things, like I'm gonna purchase some shelving with all the box truck. I'm gonna hopefully get a new lift gate for the box truck to make it safer. We've made making trips to dog foods from Newcastle, everywhere, and the box truck gets loaded up, and then to Indy, getting stuff right there. I'm gonna go to Indy in the morning with to get a bunch of frozen food. It's really helping us keep up with what we're trying to do. So having those two to be able to mesh is a huge benefit, I think.
Well, without that, and with the cut, with the
Oh,
cut
yeah.
you're gonna have, it would all go away.
Absolutely. We'd be giving out a box of food this big. It would be perfect. And we just sit around.
Stack lunch would be all they
Yeah,
did.
and you're right, it would. So
Yeah.
having that has been very beneficial. And it's been bringing in more people as these other companies and organizations are seeing what we're doing through the nonprofit. They're getting more involved. And I don't know if anybody watched this, but the Three Rivers Credit, I was off for 8 or 10 weeks. I shouldn't say off, but I was on limitations after my surgeries this spring. And Three Rivers was over here every Friday helping man that. I called them, I'd be over here, need to move 4 boxes. One of the girls would come over here and move mine. Whatever I needed done, they were right there. They stepped up and made sure that we kept functioning, which was just a huge blessing. And you guys came in as well. It was a big, they're the most amazing partner I've had in Dollar General. Those two.
Well, we need to do some kind of both sides performance, to get the pictures and get it printed out on social media.
Yeah.
And even if we get put something in the newspaper.
Kind of do some updated stories. But
Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely, so.
yeah, they've been a great partner. Yeah, I thought I wanted to try to get like some type of award or some type of recognition. Recognition for what they're doing.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for them is get it out on social media.
Okay.
That's absolutely the best thing for them.
And they come to the mobile and help. They send 1 or 2 down to it. They even had 2 ladies from the Richmond Three Rivers office out of their loan department came last mobile and helped. So yeah, we're growing what we're doing. It's taking a while to get off the ground. We're getting there.
Oh, yeah, only just that, obviously, it's helping a lot.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll sign this, you guys, I can have these guys initial too. Sign that or somewhere, wherever, down into here, this is to their side, this is all.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, just down on the board, anywhere below my name, they're just fine, Like I said, we were talking to them one day, and we talked about this, and I said, well, definitely want to make sure all you guys look at it and sign off on it. Just sign board right there.
More than anything, like I said, right, it's a good honor. It's a good thing with the state board of accounts. First thing they're gonna ask is.
And have it in the minutes of the meeting.
Yeah.
So.
So the next thing.
Let them get brought up back with that here, then we'll talk about our lovely government.
So the next thing that we're talking about, they recently passed House Bill 1461. And I'll be honest, I don't understand the difference between the Senate Bill one. It's the same thing. I don't know what the difference is. If there is, or if it's one and the same, and then just call it one or the other. I will hopefully know more towards the end of June. I'm going to the Indiana Township Association is putting on a training, basically information about this, about what it does, what it means, how it's going to affect us, and what we need to do to protect ourselves in some aspects and to protect our funds. The gist of it is, I think too many townships have way too much money sitting in their reserves, and the state tried to get rid of townships. That didn't happen, so this was Plan B, was they want to create a township roads and infrastructure fund to where they're just gonna automatically pull reserve funds. And this is where it gets foggy. Are they gonna pull it from the reserves now, or are they going to just take a portion of our leftover budget for like next year or every year after? That's what we think, as we, and Max and Beer and I both talked about it off and on in different times.
After reading this, it looks to me like we're gonna set up a township fund, just like we do for the fire fund.
Right.
It's just gonna set aside money for something that we don't know if we're gonna spend it on,
Well, that's the problem. Who's covering, and that's what I
roads and infrastructure.
Yeah, I hope to find more out about it in June. You know, who's gonna go? Do I have to call a paving company? You know, is the town gonna do it? Am I gonna have any say on, hey, like, you fix this road, and why didn't you fix this road? The funds are here. It's gonna be a huge learning curve. You know, does the money still sit in our local bank or?
Well, what it looks like is just gonna be like the fire fund, it's just gonna sit there, and then if they need
I guess.
for sidewalks or.
I was actually gonna say, I'm actually doing anything more about that. You know, because it should be, because most of our township roads, frankly, I mean, that thing, I get it a little bit more out of the county portion of the township, but the town is taxing people to fix town roads, so now are we gonna pay for them too? And the town people are gonna,
Well, it says that for infrastructure, so that could be
I'm assuming they mean
water lines, sewer
I
lines.
don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think it was just an easy way for them to siphon money back in lieu of, as I suggested when I talked to a previous trustee, discussed this when they first talked about it. I said, well, why don't they just not approve the budgets for these upcoming years for the people that have way too much money sitting in their accounts?
Yeah.
Say, no, you need to spend down your reserves first. And then.
Well, that's what they're just going after that, because the roads and stuff like that are a big issue everywhere, so.
Even though
this
the taxes,
way,
they're being taxed to repair the roads and road tax.
You said there's gonna be a training for you.
There's some type of, I don't know what you call it, training or information session, it's towards the end of June, I want to say the 26th.
yeah, pretty much it just tells you down at the bottom, doesn't do anything to tell you to. Yeah, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions, because I know one of them specifically said this starts after September this year. Yeah, the annual capital improvements is required, so according to this, we have to start September 30th, which also plays into our annual budget time too. So I'm sure there's a correlation there that they're, and I don't, like I said, there's, June 23rd is a training on a Monday, I'll be in the all day. Or Carmel, I think.
They'll tell you then what.
I don't know that they know. The ITA, that's not saying the ITA is our go-between between the legislators and us. So hopefully they have a detailed version of this bill that says, the county council president is gonna be the one that asks for funds or whatever, just give some direction. And then we're also, I know we're gonna be losing, if I understood right, like my aunt's husband had sent me some time ago, a spreadsheet of the property tax, what that cut was gonna do to our annual funds. Yeah. To make sure I understood right. See, they need to get into, and I wish there was better training on this, they start talking about circuit breakers and levies and, based on like what our current budget is and what it was before. Like this says our certified levy before was 145,000. So post circuit breaker levy 129. I don't know what that means exactly. So I'll be honest, at this point, I was looking at this some time ago. And I was coming up with, I thought about $8,000 to $10,000 difference. I may be wrong. This says total circuit breaker 15,000. It needs to say we're going to have to cut budget. And that would be getting rid of the fire trucks will help us some. That'll save us. I forget what the insurance is on the fire trucks now. I want to say 3,000 or 4,000 a year. So that helps a little bit. We're going to, I'm just going to look at that area. I don't know where exactly. I mean, I think we'll be able to cut some on like operating supplies, office supplies, that kind of thing. I had in the budget, I was going to try to update computers either this year or next year because these are 5 or 6 years old now. The laptop that I use at training at home and here, take back and forth and constantly look at Windows and look at our spreadsheets. It won't even let me update Windows 11. It's too old. So I'm going to see about updating that one and my desktop. And this desktop, I'm gonna probably move over to the food pantry, because those are really old. I bought those mine used 3 years ago now. It was old then. So I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade the computers this year when we have the money in the budget, not knowing if we're gonna take it next year, how that's gonna work. But we're just gonna have to, yeah, I don't know. You know,
Probably after your meeting with us.
yeah, we'll have, and we're gonna have to get the budget discussions, in July anyway. So yeah, we'll set another meeting for next month, probably towards the end, give us some time to work on a preliminary budget, we can look at it. And then we'll probably end of August, early September, do our first hearing on the, budget session, and then we can finish the budget hopefully in September. But I'd like to have it done by the end of September, that way we're not pushing the deadline of October. But, yeah, there's a lot of questions more than anything, but I just want you guys to be aware of group stuff that comes up. And,
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
yeah.
But we're all saving money on our property tax. $100 go a long way.
Well, I mean, the county's losing, the county's losing.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna get one somewhere else. No.
I mean, the county's losing over $1 million, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure Max is home, they're losing
Sure,
over $1 million.
I mean,
Oh, yeah, the library's losing like 100,000, 200,000. I forget, I think it's like 100,000 libraries don't lose. I mean, it's, frankly, they'll have to do personnel and programs. I don't know how it could, I may be wrong, but I don't know how they could keep what they have, the staff that they have, which is a shame, because that library does a lot in this community.
oh, no, it's stupid. It's the stupidest thing you've ever done over in this legislature.
It doesn't affect the
Absolutely
state,
stupid, really.
because what they're saying, this doesn't affect the state at all.
We just got a governor who wants to be a grandstander. He wants to tell everybody what he's doing. Now, Ricky, this great job he's doing, he's got you all screwed up now a little bit.
But,
Anyhow, so you want to schedule the next meeting?
yeah, let's look at, right, see, you can talk, that's gonna be 4th of July. Yeah, just so you guys know, nothing matters, the food pantry is closed on the 4th, because that's Friday anyway, so I'm gonna plan on leaving probably the 2nd, and we've gone a long weekend kind of thing, because we've not had a vacation for a couple years now. And our daughter leaves for college soon, so we're gonna take that before she can leave for college in August, so she can watch her homework.
And I'll be going from probably the 17th to the end of the month.
With how far you think, like till the 31st or when?
Yeah, it's probably, yeah, and we, we might be back on the 31st, I don't know. Won't leave Colorado until that 29th, so.
When you leave in 17th, you said.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if the 16th is too early.
I'm tied up that morning. But,
What about the 14th?
I'm thinking it'd be around the 14th. Other than that, those are only 2 nights in July, about it. And that's both open in the morning.
I don't know that either.
I can do it now. I'll just be in the morning.
Okay.
I'll be done by then.
You guys didn't have to do either one, or either 14th or 16th.
16th afternoon would be best.
Okay.
You said which?
16th afternoon.
I should be able to, I'll accomplish a little harder to try to get some preliminary budget stuff looked at before then. But that should work.
I said time now.
1 o'clock work or about 2 times.
1 o'clock.
Grandson's first birthday that day.
Yeah, my president, it was 15.
Okay. Okay. Anything else for anybody? Motion to.
I'll move, we adjourn.
I'll second that. All right.
Aye.